Hello there, and welcome back again to Green Valley Zoo, episode 13. I can't believe we're on to episode 13 already. Today we are introducing warthogs to the zoo. One of my favourite animals. Well, pigs are anyway. I've always had a bit of an obsession with pigs since I was as young as I can remember, really. I've always loved them. My parents took us to farms and zoos and wildlife parks, and anywhere there were animals, we were there all through our childhood, me and my brother. So for some reason I just became absolutely obsessed with pigs, and I collected them. Anything with a pig on it, I wanted it. And so to this day, pigs are still my favourite animal. If anyone ever asks me what my favourite animal are, it's pigs. I just think they're just cute in a non-cute way. I mean, I get people are either you love them or you hate them. I think with pigs, the ironic thing is I love them, but I also love bacon and sausages and pork. So yes, I love to watch them, but I also quite enjoy eating them. So there we go. That's life, isn't it? So anyway, what am I doing? I'm putting some warthogs into the zoo. Now in England, we used to have warthogs wild in England. Not too sure how long ago it was, but quite several hundred years ago, they were wiped out. They were hunted. I think they were just too destructive. Basically, they used to take. I guess they would I don't know, they'd destroy crops and things. As far as I know, they aren't carnivorous, so I don't think they would have actually been attacking livestock, but I could be wrong about that. But they are quite they cause a lot of mess wherever they go. So they were hunted to extinction in this country, but in the wild at least. But we are now introducing them back into the wild. There are areas in England where they've been putting them back into forests, pretty successfully as far as I'm aware. So that's great. I think it would be wonderful to have them back in a limited fashion anyway. I mean, they're never going to get back to their previous numbers, but it would be nice to be able to go to some places and actually see them in the wild. But we do have them. Certainly I'm in the southeast of England, and there are a couple of places down here that have them in captivity. There's one place, let's think, there's a place called Wildwood that I go to, which is a conservation park, where they have all these breeds of animals that used to be native to England that aren't anymore. Well, and they have them, and they look after them, and they breed them, and they reintroduce them either in this country or they take them elsewhere in the world to reintroduce them. And I think one of our main zoos down here actually has some as well. I think there's a zoo called Howlett's Zoo locally, and that I believe has some warthogs as well. Now in the game, their requirements are a bit strange actually in the game, I found. I can't quite remember, but they need a lot of open land, and that's not warthogs. Warthogs love woods and forests because they forage. That's what they do. They forage through the floors of woodland for their food. They look for the seeds and berries and obviously truffles. That's where truffles come from, isn't it? It's the pigs out there and snouting around in the dirt and digging up truffles. Certainly where I've seen them in this country, they are always in woodland. So as you can see on the screen here, that's what I'm doing here. I wanted an enclosure where they had a nice area of woodland at the back of the enclosure where they could go in amongst the trees, be hidden, sort of be out of sight. But obviously I needed an area for them to be up close with the guests as well. So I put the woodland in at the back. You saw me using my my copy and paste technique with the trees. It's the quickest and easiest way of filling an area. Bit of water as well. They do like to splash around. Obviously they are pigs, so they're known for splashing around and wallowing in mud, which they do get. You will see in a minute. Obviously one of their enrichment items is a mud bath. So I had an idea. I really wanted to create a large area for them to wallow in the mud, so you'll see what I do with that in a few minutes time. But for now I'm just decorating the water. I wanted the water to actually go right back into the woodland. I wanted to give them the option of swimming out in the open where the guests could see, or swimming in the woodland a bit more as well. Obviously I put a little rock path over the water. That's more for aesthetics really, and I guess for the keepers to get across the water. I also put a stone platform at the far end so the keepers could use that as well. In real life, that's that's what you would have. You'd have some sort of bridge over water so keepers could get to all areas of the enclosure. And then I'm just decorating with my usual bracken. It's got to be the best plant in the game, really, bracken, hasn't it? It's one of my favourites in real life as well. It suits every occasion. It's like an interior decorator saying that they like white or black because it's they're colours that go with everything. Whereas in my case, it's bracken and ferns. They just go in any situation, any location, mixed with any plants. Because they're just foliage. Because it's not colour. They pretty much go with anything. I wanted to I had an idea for an area where the public could go and sit down and view a bedding area of the warthogs. So I fiddled about with the path a bit here and the barrier, as you can see. I just wanted to make quite a simple shelter really, and I wanted it almost like a petting zoo, not necessarily so they could touch the animals, although to be honest you can. Certainly in the places I've been to with pigs and warthogs, there's nothing dangerous about them. You can get right up close and stroke them if they come close enough. They're quite shy, warthogs more than pigs. So it's doubtful that they would come right up to the barriers anyway. So here's the mud bath idea that I had. I could fit these three in. Ideally, I wanted to make it a sort of a multi-tiered thing, but it was a bit impractical. They're not the best navigators, the pigs, for getting over rocks and stuff. So I thought it best just to keep it flat. And as much I don't like doing this repetitive stonework, so I did my best to cover it up with some bigger rocks and some foliage, and I do in fact build a shelter over one of the rock baths as well, just to give them a bit of cover in case they want to be in there when it's raining. Although to be honest, if it's raining they're just going to be happier, because there's nothing happier than a pig in mud in the rain. Now I wanted to put some of these rocks down, but unfortunately it's that joy of the traversable area again, and they aren't suitable, those rocks. I'm hoping one day Frontier might change the traversable area of those rocks, the sort of the rubble looking rocks, because they look so good but they're just not very practical. So I did manage to use some. You can see around the outside here where it didn't matter if I blocked the area for the pigs to walk, but I wanted some more around the middle area, but I just couldn't fit them in there without blocking everything. So I used them where I could. Just wanted to make sure that the pigs could get in and out everywhere. I didn't mind if I blocked quite a few of the areas, but I wanted them, like this bit just here, I wanted them to be able to get through that gap. And obviously you can see I had to fiddle around with the rock in the middle a bit, just move it just enough so that they could get through. There we go. So I was quite happy with that. I mean, it's obviously fake. The zoo would have built all of this artificially, But that's fine, you know. I think it looks okay. And once you've got some plants in there, and obviously I build this shelter, I think it works. And yeah, this shelter is something that I have actually seen used, this this sort of iron corrugated metal look. I have seen that in Warthog enclosures, so it's that sort of rustic look. I think it's a pig thing. I don't know why, but pigs, everything around pigs has to look a bit worn out, a bit dirty, and a bit you know, used, and like it needs a bit of repair. I don't know why. It's just a pig thing. But it works, you know. I'm quite happy with this shelter. It's very simple, you know, a simple wooden framework and a pointed roof. It doesn't need to be any more than that. Pigs don't need it to be high because they're, you know, they're quite small animals. They can get under that quite easily. I do put a heat lamp, I believe, in the middle. Again, it's for decoration, but it's the sort of thing. Again, pigs actually do like to be warm. I have seen heat lamps in with pigs before, because obviously they do wallow a lot, and so they do get wet, so they do like to dry off. In case people don't know, the reason they wallow is it's essentially for skin protection from the sun, because they can burn very easily because they don't have hair. Obviously their skin is exposed, and so they actually have to stay wet if they're out in the sun, otherwise they get sunburnt. So that's the main reason why they wallow so much. But obviously when they do want to dry off, you know, if you can provide them with a heat lamp, then they're going to enjoy that, aren't they? So here's the shelter. Again, very simple. I liked this green roof. I kind of like the idea that maybe the green roof is what the other shelter over the mud bath used to look like, and now it's got rusted. Maybe, I don't know. I like the green roof anyway. So again, very simple. Try to keep the angles a bit interesting, you know, a little bit non-symmetrical, and you know, I like to vary my roof as much as possible, because otherwise you end up building the same building over and over again, and that's just, it's boring, and you know, you lose your creativity. So I really wanted to try and come up with something new here. Obviously the wood walls match the wood on the barrier, so I was happy to use that. And the idea under here, first I've made it glass, and then I thought, no, that's ridiculous. It's just so unnecessary and expensive for the zoo. It wouldn't be glass, it would just be a wire mesh. You know, pigs aren't dangerous, they don't bite, you know, you can't get diseases from them. So yeah, just, it would be mesh. You know, little kids would just put their hands through and stroke the pigs. Absolutely fine, no problem at all. So yeah, and put the bedding down, and it works very nicely. You can see I put quite a few pigs in. There's more than is recommended actually, and in real life they wouldn't have such high numbers. They would usually just stay in their family groups. So there'd be sort of mum, dad, and a load of babies, and then sometimes as the babies grew up, they would stay with the family for a while until they went off and mated on their own. So there is too many in here, but it's quite a big enclosure, so I wanted to just put a few extras in, just, you know, so that you can see them basically, because otherwise they'd all be hiding all the time. You know, I'm happy doing that. I know it's not what the game wants, but you know, for the sake of guests being able to actually see the animals, and you and me being able to see the animals, I put in enough that I thought there'd always be some out and about rather than hiding. Just a few details going in. Obviously my fallen logs, as I put in all my enclosures, because they just make it look a bit realistic. And I did put this here, the foraging tray for the food. I had a bit of a gap over here, didn't know what to do with, and so I thought that made sense. So we're nearly at the end of the time lapse here, and I will just do a little real-time segment, just to show you a few details that I've done. So until then, enjoy, and I will see you in a moment's time. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that. Here's a happy pig for you. There's nothing happier than a pig in mud. And off he goes. Right, so there's not too much to show you here. You can see here I put these lamps underneath the shelter in here, just to give them a little bit of heat. Minor details, I guess, outside, nothing too much. You know, just finished off the edge here with my usual rock formation. A couple of little lamps on wooden posts, so pretty simple stuff there. I quite like this at the end. Had a little area here and I wasn't too sure what to do with it, so I made it into a little topiary garden. Got the deer, obviously the shapes, little hedgehog, squirrel here, and fox, I believe that is. So yeah, quite like that. It's you know, a little bit of formality. You do find a lot of zoos have stuff like this, gives their gardeners something to do. Obviously you've got some information boards scattered around, and then I suppose the main difference, obviously I've filled in a lot of the back area here with continued the same trees, so it all looks like it belongs here. Looks like the trees have been here a long time, and obviously all of this has been built around them. So as we go into this shelter here, pretty straightforward. Just put some benches along the back, obviously a couple of vendor machines in here just to encourage people to actually come in. Put some lights in the ceiling. I can't remember if I made them a different colour or not. Let's see. No, I think that's just the normal colour, isn't it? But it's all it needs. It creates a nice atmosphere. I love the look of the green roof actually under that light. It really looks nice, doesn't it? The textures are really good. Just enough, you know, so people can be in here at night time and still see the pigs. And obviously the pigs enjoy a little bit of daylight here in their bed area as well. As you can see, they love it in here. So yeah, it'd be a really nice area this actually for people to come in. You know, if it was raining, come in under shelter, have a sit down and enjoy a bit of company with the pigs. Yeah, very nice. Who doesn't enjoy the company of a pig? And then at the back here, nothing too much, just the obviously I put a keeper hut in here. I think it was only a keeper hut I put in. Oh no, I put a staff room in here as well. Yeah, I thought I might as well. Pretty straightforward building, nothing too clever here. Just, I like the green roof, just blends in nicely with the wood look. Obviously it matches this building. Make sure I didn't cover it up too much. I did put this one tree just in the front here just to cover it a little bit. I just, you know, it's one of those things, it's obviously not somewhere that the public goes, but it's obvious it's there, but it blends in quite nicely in the background, I thought. And obviously if you're sitting in here, you'd be able to see that and know that it's a you know, it's a keeper place. It's not somewhere that the public are meant to go. I didn't see any need to put any sort of signage here saying you know, no entry. If people want to walk up here, they can. You do see that in a lot of zoos, certainly in England here. You see areas where the public can go. There's nothing for them to see or do there, but you know, there's no point in stopping people if there's no harm in them walking there. So yeah, obviously I've just filled this in with more of the bracken under here, and the moss rocks along the edge of the path I think look nice. As usual, I use my gravel path wherever it's meant to be, not for the public. Although actually I used it in here. I might change that. I didn't realise I've used the wrong path, so I may actually go back in and redo this pathway under the shelter here in a different texture. Maybe I might go for the wood log or the wood chip. I'm not sure, but I'll have a look at that, because I do want to stick to my theme of using the gravel wherever the keepers go and the public aren't meant to. So maybe where this door starts here, I may keep that gravel and redo this bit. I'm not sure, so I will have a look at that. But yeah, that's basically it really. So not too much to show you, but I think it all blends in quite nicely, I think. Let me just get up here so you can see it from the air. Yeah, obviously this is, if you remember right back to episode 3, I think it was, where we put the aardvarks in here. So this is the keeper path coming back here, so the keepers obviously would be able to get a different point of view of the warthogs, but the public have got a good view along the front and obviously in the shelter there as well. So yeah, very happy with this this enclosure. It's always nice to get pigs in the zoo. So yeah, I will leave you there. Please, let me know what you think of my pigs and my pig enclosure. Let me know if you love pigs as much as I do. Believe me, if I could own them, I would. I've owned many different animals in my life, but never a pig. Not very practical, unfortunately, but maybe one day, who knows. Maybe if I make my millions and buy a farm, one day I will actually own a pig of my own. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time for my next video. Let me tell you, is quite a large project, quite an unusual project, but it's come out quite nicely. I'm quite happy with it, and it's directly behind me on the camera here, which is why I'm being very careful not to turn around. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy showing you that and talking you through all my ideas. But for now, I will leave you with my pigs. Here we go. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Please leave any comments that you'd like to, and I will see you in the next time. In the next time? That didn't make sense. I will see you next time in the next one. Oh dear, I need to drink less rum. Okay, thank you very much. See you soon. Bye bye.